Hello, this is just me. I'm in my Carol space again, and I haven't done an introduction to the semester video yet this semester, but one of the main things I'm doing is reading for one of my preliminary examinations, which is just kind of a really long kind of paper or test, depending on which format you choose, that shows that you know like all the basics for what you're studying. So for this semester, I'm doing mine on late antiquity, my major field, and that will just kind of cover that I'm aware of all the authors of the basics. So most of it's a lot of like secondary sources, but there are also some primary sources that I'm reading. So that's kind of what I'll just focus on for today. So I was just reading some of Procopius of Caesarea. He's a historian of the 6th century, probably most famous for documenting a lot of the wars of Belisarius and the Byzantines of that time under Justinian. So but I was just reading earlier, and there's like so many little tidbits in there that are really interesting. Like during one battle, there was just a guy who was part of the enemies of the Romans, and their forces were beaten, and the Romans were basically chasing them back to their fortified camp, because if you can stay closely chasing the enemies, then rather than getting back to their camp and being able to close the gates and refortify, and then you basically have to fight a whole nother battle to actually defeat them, if you can follow up on them and defeat them all in one fell swoop, it's actually much better for your army. But there was just like a tidbit there where they're like, and the Romans all thought that they were just going to sweep into the camp and destroy them all at once. But they were held up for a while by this one Alan warrior, A-L-A-N, that was the tribe. So this one Alan warrior who was allied with the enemy Persians, I think, that they were chasing at this point, and he could shoot really well, both to his right and to his left with arrows. And he held up the whole Romans for a while, standing at the gate. But then one of our, Roman champions came by and whacked him, got him with a spear and whatnot. And so then that ended him, and then the camp was overrun. And it's just one of those mini tidbits that you're just reading along, and you're like, whoa, epic archer guy. Oh, well, we had his whole story in one paragraph. Tough for him, I guess. But yeah, so there's like tons of things like that where we're just like, wow, that guy was epic. Oh, he's dead now. So like as soon as he's introduced, he's basically killed off. And you're just like, oh man, that's annoying. So yeah, so that was one thing that I just was like, man, reading these stories is kind of crazy. And then I also just wanted to show off this book I checked out. A nice big volume here, the Theodosian Code, with some commentary. So that's the law code that was made in the, I guess, late 4th, early 5th century. That was also then largely used in Justinian's law code in the 6th century, but those two law codes kind of were the foundation for a lot of European law. So yeah, so just a lot of things going on in that regard. So nothing else to say except for just a lot of cool guys in history who just get killed like right away according to their source material. So if you want to write any short stories, I would suggest combing through the short historical fiction. You could comb through the pages of Procopius and just give some backstory to some of these guys who are there for like a little bit and then just get killed. It's like, oh, I just mentioned him because he was fighting in the battle and was doing really epic, but he's dead now, so moving on. And you're just like, oh, okay. So that's all that I have for right now. Hopefully I'll get a more full or an additional kind of what else am I doing this semester video to you guys soon. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you all later.